it's a little bit into March, and it's time for my March sowings. Now, I've mentioned many times I try as much as possible to direct sow everything I possibly can outside in the garden. I know that we all have different pests or whatnot that might hinder us direct sowing everything we possibly can. I found that out with corn. Birds I see just 5 birds just pulling all my corn out if I don't start them inside. They like the little shoots, they think they're worms, I don't know. And I used to have a problem with broad beans. When I first started planting broad beans, in this area, I have a wide open area in the field up there. The crows pulled them out, same thing. I think they just little toys to play with, what is this, and just yanked out my broad beans. The next year I put a cover over them, and then the wind takes everything away. I'm not great with any row covers here. And then the next year, crows watched me plant, and I don't know, I think we just got used to each other. I really believe this. And they never bothered them again, so I can plant broad beans anywhere. But certainly each of us might have issues. It could be field mice and squirrels and deers and rabbits. So you might want to start some things that you're aware of for your particular situation to start indoors. But for March, it's not much for me. It's tomatoes and peppers. Those, I must have a head start, and I don't have a greenhouse. So for peppers, well, for both, I have to tell you, for the past 3 seasons, prior 3 seasons, I had to go away on family emergencies. One was for over a month, and the other's for 2 weeks, I think. And they were at peak time for my peppers and tomatoes, either to be hardened off or to, go outside at the correct time for them to survive in my 5B zone. This year, I am going to focus on getting it right, doing it a bit better, because knock on wood, don't have to go anywhere this year. So peppers, we love peppers. And I grow them inside for 7, 8, possibly 9 years. I've been growing them indoors because I just never thought I could grow them outdoors in Newfoundland. But you just have to get smarter and smarter. Whereas when I lived in Ontario, it was no problem whatsoever. And I've been playing around with varieties that work for me. And this year, because I'm here, I'm going to make it work and really try to get it be one of my food staples, in my quest for self-sufficiency, especially nowadays. That's something I want to focus on. So it's not a whole lot of plants I'm looking at, it's just my timing and what I'm going to be doing. Peppers love sun, love heat. And so I will get the timing right there. I have stuck them out, hopped on a plane, knowing they're going to get cold, frost, and they don't like it. Maybe even if it wasn't frost, I'd try to hold off. They don't like the cold. So I will wait a good 2 weeks after my last frost date, rather than, I think I've stuck them in June 1st, and ran away. I did start some today, so I'll read you what I've started. Seems like quite a few plants, but some of these will still be my indoor plants upstairs that just do well, and that is my cherry tomatoes and hot peppers. Hot peppers do really well inside my house, not so much outside. So I planted some banana peppers, some hot wax peppers. Early summer's a new one I'm trying. As the title says, or the name says, it's early, and it's a green pepper, like a nice California Wonder type, smaller probably. I've got a couple Ring of Fire. They'll probably go upstairs. An eggplant. Sorry, eggplant's another thing I'm trying. We don't eat a lot of eggplant, but I keep trying them every year. So, then Fast and Sassy, big Thai chili, favorite of ours, and a couple of jalapeno also. So those are the peppers I'm doing. Now jalapeno and excuse me, banana pepper, and then some of the hybrid, the early one and the Fat and Sassy are for shorter seasons. over time, you know, that's what you learn, what goes best. But some of the other things I must focus on this year, aside from timing and getting it out, is hardening off properly. Getting that right. If I'm home, that shouldn't be a problem. I just couldn't do it. And for those that, you know, working 9 to 5 or longer hours, it's very hard also. So just take your time and just try to do your best for those pepper plants, not to rush them. They also have been something I almost set them up for failure for. I wasn't expecting them to do well. So I would stick them out with my tomatoes and crowded them too much. And yeah, didn't give them as much thought as I'm going to this year. So this year I'm just making some notes that once they, you know, I pop them on indoors and it's time for them to go out, I think I'm going to do them in buckets. Right out front here, you can see I get sun here beautifully, but right down off the veranda where the heat can bounce off, and they could just try to set them up best, and 1 per bucket, because they do like a lot of space, and I know these things from indoors growing. The other thing is when they're separate from my tomatoes, peppers like water in a different way than tomatoes do. Tomatoes just can't get enough water, and when I mix them in a bed outside, I'm probably overwatering my pepper plants. Peppers like a good deep drink, you know, real good soaking, but maybe once every 3 days, whereas tomato plants, if I can get out there, they need a lot more water. And that again I've learned from indoor growing, you know. So I'm going to try to do separate buckets, 1 in a bucket so they have lots of space. Peppers do need more space than what I've been giving them. When they first go out too, I've never tried it, but I will. I often have little dwarf plants with very few peppers. Again, in my rush and not focusing on it, but this year to focus. If they have any flowers coming, and they're still tiny plants, little, you know, not the size that they should be, or I'm dwarfing them because the flowers are on them. I'll take those flowers off till they get to a size that is good size plant, healthy plant, and then let the flowers go. Hopefully I'll see a bit more peppers coming in. We do love them. I love them fresh at the time. I mean, you know, you're making your salsas with the tomatoes that you're getting, and stuffed peppers, and just love them at the time. So I don't need a whole lot of plants. I freeze some. What did I grow? Pathfinder last year. It was so prolific. Oh, I don't have Pathfinder. I'm going to do some Pathfinder. What a prolific pepper plant growing indoors. So many I couldn't keep up with them. Pickled them, but I eventually froze them, and they're hot. So when I cook with them, I only need like half of one because they're very hot. But found that they work really well frozen too. And of course, my indoor hot peppers that I grow go towards hot sauce and hot pepper flakes, which, you know, I really like replacing any store-bought. So tomatoes next. I've gotten better and better with tomatoes in my 5B zone outside without a greenhouse. And that's the varieties. So last year I did so well with the tomato called Lemon Boy that I'll be doing those again. The taste, the juiciness. I mean, when you grow tomatoes, it's for the use you want them for. If you make a lot of tomato paste sauces, you might want your Roma style. For salsas, for slicing, for sandwiches, you know, that's what you're going to focus on. But I don't grow the Roma, I don't do canning of tomatoes. I freeze them. It's just nice and easy, and I don't own a canner, quite frankly. I'm a little afraid of them. So the Lemon Boy tomato was fabulous. So I'm definitely going to do those again. Now I haven't started my tomatoes yet. That will be in a couple of weeks. It's a little earlier. You want to do your tomatoes, you know, 8 to 10 weeks out. Your peppers 8 to 10 weeks out. But for my zone, I find that if I start my peppers a little earlier than the seed packets say, and put them out a little later than the seed packets say, I do better with those. So again, that's my focus there. But tomatoes are pretty much, I follow the packet. So I won't be starting those till toward the end of March. I don't need big scraggly plants indoors before they go out. So lemon boy, well, I've got some here. So I've done well and enjoyed the taste of a Scotia bush. It's okay. This is just a typical burpee, and it's Burpee's Early Bird. It's very nice and early. I will plant some of the Tiny Tim dwarf cherry. That a couple plants will go outside, but most of them indoors. And then I did okay with these local seed company, but beef steak bush. It's a bush plant, so it's not too hard for me to handle out there. And yeah, I'll try those again. Sun Gold I love, super sweet. We all love a Sun Gold, and they grow really surprisingly well for me outside. They're just fantastic. Now, 3 that I'm not going to focus on at all is Manitoba tomato. I just don't like the tomato. Grainy, not juicy. I just don't like that tomato at all, so won't be doing that. Black Zebra I've grown. They grew very well, but the flavor again was meh, not so much. And it's all about space for me, so I'll focus. Red Robin is not a bad tomato, but I won't be focusing on that one. I really want to focus on the Lemon Boy. I was able to really stock my freezer. We ate them non-stop once they start ripening. We really, really enjoyed them. But for feeding my family, self-sufficiency, I still have a lot of tomatoes in the freezer, and most of those are Lemon Boy. So that's the 2 and only 2 that I will start indoors in March. Peppers and tomatoes. What are you able to start in March?
And just a reminder, another thing you can do in March is seed sharing. Maybe you have a seed swapping group or a seed library. In our local library, we have a brand new seed library, which I was happy to be able to share some of those extra seeds that I have. Are you?
Well, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you soon.